Because every day above ground is a good day. Some are just more questionable than others. It is Questionable Call with JC. That's me, 8 on the board. And we begin the countdown with Austin Rivers appearing on the Pat McAfee show, trying to claim that NBA players could easily make the transition to the NFL, much more so than he says NFL players could possibly play in the NBA. Take a look at this.
Where the best athletes in the world are, that's us. I could take 30 players right now in the NBA and throw them in the NFL. You cannot take 30 NFL players and put them in the NBA.
Whoa. It's because you only allow 5 on the court. Let's all relax.
It's because you get a break every play. All you got to do is catch the ball and run north or south.
Listen, our sport.
It ain't complex.
Our sport's better. Our sport's better because we would just create a position for one of you 5'2", 40 running 6'10" guys and just put them, can't get hit much, fragile, all right, little thin, very. We would just create a position because we got big brains in our sport.
And there is the Pat McAfee show. Austin Rivers, question on the board. NFL or NBA? Who can play the other's game? I'm going to make it very simple for you. I'm going to put it to you like this. Are there more dudes in the NBA that look like NFL players, or are there more dudes in the NFL with NBA bodies? That's as simple as I need to go. Obviously, the answer here is NFL, because the NFL guys can learn how to shoot, handle the ball, etc. But you can't teach width and size. Can't coach that. That's an unlearnable thing. The NBA guys to the NFL, not happening, not as easily as the NFL guys to the NBA. And by the way, Austin Rivers, don't try so hard, homie. Let the takes just come as they do. As we continue the countdown to number 7, presented by Celsius, Essential Energy Drinks. Look at this one, Cosmic Vibe. That is a sparkling fruit punch edition. Celsius, live fit. Question today about whether or not Shaquille O'Neal is teaching us phrases we need to know. Take a look at Shaq on the set of the NBA on TNT as he's going to teach us all OTBS as he attacks Charles Barkley for it. Take a look.
Shaq, what are you doing over there?
He couldn't understand the analogy.
Go ahead.
This
is what he did. You know when he drops his pen when we say something?
Oh, he's all Gronk.
Go ahead.
He's all Gronk.
Go ahead, Shaq.
You saw
First of all, Gronk won't punch you in the face. I'll punch you in the face.
There it is. See, I told you.
Because you're over there. Because first of all, when Ernie asked you a question, you OT BSing. You over there BSing around. Answer the question.
OT?
Yeah, over there. BSing. OT BSing.
OTBS. I'm not over.
Answer the damn question.
I'm not BSing. I'm OTBS. Kenny, you're right. You OTBSing over there.
The NBA on TNT crew, OTBSing. Meanwhile, these dudes were BSing all over the place. Take a look as they decided to make up their own song in the midst of a promo for a tequila partner they have on their halftime show. Listen, because it's actually not terrible. Take a look.
He goes, jalapeno tequila. Oh.
Jalapeno tequila.
For the head bob. He hears it too. SGA. Fuck is not amused. What?
Hey, come on, crew. That was pretty good.
That was not good.
Ernie's proud.
That's off the dome, man.
Off the dome, Ernie.
Wait, all y'all said was jalapeno tequila.
With the rhythm section. With the rhythm section.
Don't flatter yourself on the rhythm part.
Casamigos.
You were hitting on a damn cup.
Jalapeno tequila. Thank you very much.
And that was the NBA on TNT. You'll notice that Shaq decided to borrow a little bit from Tequila, the song, and a little bit from La Bamba and made a little mashup, and then he's making up words in Spanish. God bless you, Shaq. Question is on the board. Who's the real MVP of the NBA on TNT? Is it Shaq or is it Barkley? Look, these two need each other. These two are at opposite ends of the table for a reason. Star power far left, Shaquille O'Neal. Star power far right, Charles Barkley. But if you had to say, if one of them had to depart, who makes the show as close to still what it was with the other having left, you'd say slight advantage Barkley. They're both hilarious. They're both lovable. They're both memorable, as is Kenny, as is Ernie. But if you had to crown the MVP of that show, it's Charles Barkley, because even the faces and even the fact that he's like Bert from Sesame Street, everybody else is Ernie having a good time. He's Bert. He's miserable there. He's that guy. He's Charles Barkley, 1 of 1. The countdown continues to number 6, presented by Bud's Chicken and Seafood. Crispy, crunchy, juicy, golden brown, fried perfection. Order at budschicken.com. I could use some right now. Yum, yum. There's a lot going on in this clip, just like there is at the menu at Bud's Chicken and Seafood. There's a lot going on in this clip. I want you to watch here in just a moment a dude who's doing a very dangerous exercise for some reason in the most dangerous way possible. And in the background, you got another dude who says, hold my ab wheel. I'm going to take it from here. Take a look at this gym right now and look at all that's going on. One dude is deciding to risk breaking his chin, his jaw, his nose, and an orbital using an ab roller wheel. But then behind him, we've got what looks like Greg Popovich, or shall we call him Greg Poppin Lakovich. Oh, yeah. Busting moves like he's breakdancing 1983, and that dude looks like he might be literally 83. Back to me for the question, and it's on the board, presented by Bud's Chicken and Seafood. Question: which is more can't look away? Which is the can't look away more aspect of this lot going on video from the gym? Is it the roll or is it the stroll? Well, to be honest with you, the first 2 or 3 times I saw this clip, I didn't even notice the dude was using a roll wheel on a bar, risking breaking chins and noses and everything else. Your eyes are drawn to the older gentleman in the back and the fluidity with which he strolls and the popping and the locking. So you can't look away from that dude. And if I can't notice the first dude being stupid and dangerous until I watch the clip the third time, the answer's obvious. Let's just go more look away. The old man with the stroll. And by the way, shout out. Or as Ali G would say, booyakasha, because my man is strolling just a touch. On the countdown, on to number 5. It is Anthony Edwards, game 2 of this Western Conference second round series. This is a young team on the road at the defending world champion Denver Nuggets. They are in the midst of going up 2-0 on the road. And you'd think Anthony Edwards would go back to the bench, be locked in, be focused, be very serious, be in to the moment at hand. Take a look, though, because that's not exactly the case. What we see and read the lips is Anthony Edwards asking, you farted? Did you fart? And now he's going to look the other way. And he's going to ask everyone to his left side, somebody farted. Who farted? Are you the one that farted? That's Anthony Edwards, the star of the Minnesota Timberwolves, who, by the way, is on the board because the question asks, is Ant-Man now the face of the league? Is the Ant-Man the league's face as we speak? The answer is no, and here's why. Don't confuse being the face of the league with the biggest star of the league. The RN stands for right now. If you are the face, you don't need a name. You don't need anyone to tell you who you are. There doesn't need to be a graphic, not an introduction. If you're in a commercial, no one has to say, hey, look, it's Anthony Edwards from the Minnesota Timberwolves. Faces of leagues are people who need no introduction, like LeBron, like Steph Curry. But those fellas aren't playing right now, are they? So they can be the face of the league, but they're not the star. They're not the ones doing work. They're not the ones getting it done because they're not playing any longer. Anthony Edwards is currently the biggest star in the NBA for what he says after the game, for how he acts here on the bench during the game, and for how he is playing the game. But don't confuse the face with the star, because in most of America, they don't know exactly who this kid is. And if he walked down the street, sure, he'd get recognized. But people wouldn't mob him and know exactly who he was. And until they do, you cannot be the face of the NBA, regardless of who's playing and who's not. We continue the countdown all the way up to number 4, Zack Ede, the former college basketball star, on the mound to throw a ceremonial first pitch at the Chicago Cubs game. How bad could this go? He's an athlete. He used to play baseball. In fact, he used to pitch. Take a look, and you'll see exactly how bad it went. Here he is. He's over 7 feet tall. He's a righty, and we're just a bit outside. Take a look at the mascot. I want you to pay attention to the mascot's face when he stops and he looks back. Look at the shock from the mascot. As I know that sound vanishes now and we head back to me. The question is now on the board. Is this a top 5 worst first pitch of all time? Think back in your mind. 50 Cent immediately comes to mind, right? Conor McGregor comes to mind. Probably. Steve Aoki probably comes to mind. Mariah Carey, Baba Booey. This is not a top 5 worst first pitch. He looks athletic. He can throw the ball. He just threw it too hard. You actually see this pitch a couple times a week from a Major League Baseball player. Occasionally a ball does get away like this. It's not a terrible first pitch. It's just a terrible pitch. On to number 3 we roll in the countdown, presented by Twin Peaks. Eat, drink, scenic views, 29-degree beer made from scratch favorites. Your official UFC fight headquarters is Twin Peaks. And this comes to us from the Denver Nuggets and their head coach, Michael Malone, who is going to go off on an official in Game 2. Things were not going well. In fact, things are going really, really not well. But it's early in this game. I want you to watch where Coach winds up on the floor. I want you to read his lips because I can't say what he's saying. And I want you to see how far he goes with this confrontation with the official. Take a look.
Beautiful move here by Anthony Edwards, hanging in the air. Michael Malone is hot. He is hot. Having words here with the official, Mark Davis. He might be thrown out of here. Wow.
That was Michael Malone all the way on the floor with the face, with the words, with all that you saw. And you heard Reggie Miller, which poses the question. Was this handled properly? Yes or no? You heard Reggie Miller say he might get ejected. He might get thrown out. Now, Reggie would say that because Reggie's been in basketball for, 45 years. I mean, Reggie knows appropriately where that line is, where that line gets crossed. And if he says he might get ejected, he might get thrown out, you know texts are coming. Texts, double texts, something is coming. And as you probably know by now, nothing came. Not a damn thing. He was not teed up. He was not ejected. He was not suspended. Was it handled properly? Absolutely not. How do you allow this coach to go that far? I mean, physically, literally, and phonetically. How do you allow him to be that far into the court and to be confronting an official that way and to be using that language and need to be restrained and not get a technical foul? I'll tell you how. Well, he's the head coach of the defending world champions that are playing in prime time, that are down 1-0 at home, facing being down 0-2 and heading to Minnesota, as they are. The officials are giving him a lot more leeway because of he being the defending world champion coach and the circumstances of that game. He absolutely should have been ejected. This was not handled properly, not even close. The countdown continues to number 2, and we stay with the aforementioned Denver Nuggets and that rough Game 2 outing. Jamal Murray, who I'm sure you've seen by now, throwing at first a towel and then later a heating pad device at the official onto the court while the game was being played. Take a look at the video, and you will see in the upper left-hand corner the towel being thrown at the official. It's moved out of the way. And then you will see what appears to be a heating pad, later confirmed, thrown onto the court, just missing the feet thereof. Players on the floor. It is then picked up, as you see right now, and tossed off of the court. And that is ridiculously, ridiculously dangerous. This was Game 2. And watch closely from this angle, and you can see the game action is taking place, and then lower left hand, the heating pad onto the floor right there, It gets kicked, partially stepped on, and then thrown to the side of the court. Take a look at the close-up. This is a close-up view right now of that heating pad. And I want you to notice.
That was a heat pack. That came from the bench. That was a heat pack for sure.
Where it is, how it gets kicked, stepped on, and then thrown aside. Question is on the board. What should have been the outcome? Jamal Murray fined, Jamal Murray ejected, or Jamal Murray suspended? Well, we know now that he got fined $100,000, which ain't a damn thing. He did not get ejected. He did not get suspended, and he should have been all three. He should have been ejected immediately. He should have been suspended from the next playoff game, number 3 in Minnesota, and he should have been fined more than $100,000, which, by the way, I think is what he earns in playing a quarter of basketball. This is ridiculously dangerous. Forget about the fact that you're throwing an item onto the floor during the game. Okay. You are risking somebody slipping on that and destroying their season, their career, their livelihood. You also are forgetting this simple fact. He was throwing these things at the official. So that means he's intending to attack the official, right? He's attempting to assault the official. You say it's a towel, so what? It's a heating pad, so what? The intent was to hit an official with an object. And while it had a pretty happy ending, and it could have been much, 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 much worse, this absolutely should have been a case of Jamal Murray being ejected, suspended, and then fined. Not just fined. And just like that, we find our way all the way to number 1, presented by St. Lucie Battery and Tire, the home of honest, reliable service since 1970. Batteries, brakes, tires, everything. SLBT.com. Yamamoto and the Los Angeles Dodgers hosting the Miami Marlins. The MLB Network studio crew about to hand it over to the play-by-play team are so confident that Yamamoto is going to have a night. Listen very closely to what they proclaim and what they call is probable to happen just before we actually see the first pitch of this game. Take a look and a listen to this.
The wrong way, but we are already a no-hitter alert. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, before he throws a single pitch tonight against the Marlins, we have a no-hitter alert.
Okay.
Enjoy what could be a no-hitter from Yamamoto.
You know Jazz swing your first pitch.
Right here on MLB Network for Harold, CY, I'm Greg. We have a no-hitter alert. Enjoy this game live on MLB Network.
Boy, you're crazy.
It's in the major leagues to establish himself
as
that
the first pitch of the game.
Dodgers looking for a 6th straight win and a 13th out of their last 15 after they took the
first
game
pitch
6-3 last
of the game.
There
it is, and there it goes. Just like that.
On the first pitch.
This is remarkable how the universe works sometimes. I know we talk jinx, not jinx. Is it real? Is it? Question, jinxed or not jinxed? When you talk about a pitcher who maybe has 3 batters left, 2 batters left, 1 batter left, and you put up a no-hitter alert and you make reference or mention to it, that's jinxing. When you say this dude is going to be on no-hitter alert and the game hasn't started, that's not jinxing. That's just saying stupid stuff on television and then the game begins. You can't jinx a man before the game began. You can only jinx a man in the midst of what it is that he's doing. And just like that, we wrap on a Wednesday edition. Thank you, SLBT.com once again. Remember, hit subscribe. Share the link with your people. And remember this, kids. While every day above ground is a good day, some are just more questionable than others. Say goodnight to the bad guy. We'll see you Friday.